They are not human, but they hunt human women, and not for killing. Humanoids from the Deep, the 1980 sci-fi monster movie from Roger Corman's New World Pictures. Terrifying special effects creations by Rob Bottin, Chris Wallace, and Kenny Myers. Humanoids from the Deep lives on today as a Corman cult classic.
When we cut the film together and realized we had all the killings in great detail, but not, maybe I should go with a mask.
This resulted in a series of reshoots later on, after we got the picture to a length that we liked. How can I say?
All the people associated with the very sexy film that was cut, they were not on set with us. That was a completely different film, Beneath the Darkness. And it was a complete surprise to the cast when we saw that.
The original director, Barbara Peters, of course, was very upset. Some of the cast members were also upset.
Psychological thriller.
Turned out that humanoids from the deep.
And I take personal pride in the fact that even though the films are generally low or medium budget, our films from a special effects standpoint look a little bit bigger.
Welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media. This is Josh here, checking in with you as fast as I can. You want to know what's so cool about YouTube, really about the video format, was I had 2 or 3 pages of notes on one of my favorite movies, Humanoids from the Deep, Monster, or Beneath the Darkness. And I was trying to think about, ways to describe the elephant in the room. How can I talk about this film and talk about what the company did, what Roger Corman did, who I love, who was the GOAT, who was one of the best of all time. How he totally made this into a jiggly physics type of movie, right? Had a little more oomph to it, if you know what I'm saying. He had a lot more exploitation. He totally changed the picture to make it a little more, I don't know. But anyway, instead of talking about all those things that I wrote down, I was like, I can just use video clips. I can make it like a little mini documentary that only takes 1 minute at a time instead of 5 or 6 minutes of your time. So I'm learning how to edit quicker and faster, follow the bouncing ball. So I thought that was really cool. How are you guys doing? Welcome in. Tonight, of course, we are talking about Roger Corman's Humanoids from the Deep, 1980s monster movie. One of the best of all time. And really when you think about Humanoids from the Deep, I'm just going to go free flow and just kind of see what comes out. We're not going to edit a bunch. You can't talk about Humanoids from the Deep without first talking about Jaws. The greatest film of all time. Here, look at it back here on Laserdisc. Almost like it wanted to be a part of this video. It's just hanging out back there just watching. How sick is that? This discussion has nothing to do with Jaws, but at the same time, it has everything to do with Jaws because, like Amity Island, Humanoids from the Deep takes place in a small California town where things are happening. There's a coastal cannery that's trying to take over, and there's a scientist that is trying to hyper speed up the salmon evolution, breeding, all kinds of weird things in the water. And of course, they speed up this DNA of this frog just a little bit too quick. DNA 5, as they call it, and you gotta have Jaws. That is exactly the feel. Small town, monster movie, everyone's trying to get away from something, only this time it plays more like a 50s monster movie, and we couldn't have what we have on screen. The humanoids looking as disgustingly, amazingly perfect as they do in these crazy amphibious kind of humanoid fish suits without the creative genius of Rob Bottin and his creature effects, made famous, a year later, basically, with John Carpenter's greatest horror film of all time. Basically, The Thing. Thank you, Rob Bottin. Humanoids from the Deep. I actually think that Monster is kind of a funner title, but, for what it is, we're going with Humanoids from the Deep. This right here, if you're a fan of creature features, if you're a fan of just horror cinema and just the good old days, man, this right here is a home run. Not just this release, which we'll get into. This thing right here is a goddamn home run. It is a mother effing perfect little slice. 80 minutes, dude. Lean, mean, and full of uncompromising pulling off of those blue jeans, if you know what I'm talking about. This is a jiggly physics masterpiece. I'm saying right now, Humanoids from the Deep is a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. There is some amazing kills. There is amazing creatures. There's a nice, clean, like sharp, easy, quick sit. 80 minutes, you're in, you're out. Popcorn flick. By the time you go to check on the kid that's sleeping, the movie's over. And you just had one hell of a great time. This is a Friday night popcorn flick. Pizza and a beer any day of the fucking week. Okay? 1980 was famous for The Shining, right? There was maybe a Halloween sequel. There was a couple of cool movies. Obviously, Friday the 13th. Roger Corman was making a film. He trusted this female, Barbara Peters, to make a nice little monster movie. He got the dailies back and they said, we might have a problem. We might have a big time fucking problem. We don't have anything scary in our movie. She happened to shoot all the dude deaths, all the people, anytime somebody on screen that was a male died, it was crazy, it was gory, it was fantastic. But whenever the monsters would get that little monstery itch, if you know what I'm talking about, right? A little bit of that wowza schnauza, there was the camera just cut away and it was just these rocks and things were happening. These humanoids were not put on the earth. They did not come back and upspeed the miracle of evolution to just tap a female on the shoulder, have a little bit of one-on-one time romance or wine and dine, right? This is not a Saturday night special. This is, they were here to mate. They're going to get after it. And Humanoids from the Deep is a pervy, nasty mess. And I love it. I completely love it. Now, I think that the title Beneath the Darkness, which was the original film that all these actresses and people shot, that's kind of a cool name too, almost like a psychological thriller, right? And even the film, like in the special features that you'll learn if you pick up this 4K from Shout Factory, you can tell I'm talking really fast. I'm really excited. I've also been on camera for 3 days and I get a little antsy, man, and I love this film. The female that was, one of the heroines at the end, they wanted to shoot a shower scene and it was so plain Jane, so vanilla, right? Just a nice little, an earthy, aromatic candle. I can't even speak. All of a sudden they hired this woman, this jiggly physics busty female to come in, and all of a sudden you got some real hams on screen. And even though I don't know, it just totally changed the picture. So it's interesting to watch the special features and kind of learn what happened on film and how they kind of just spliced in all this crazy creature gore, creatures being creatures, if you will, and it just got super nasty and the audience loved it. They were clapping, there were standing ovations. Roger Corman just put his stamp of approval on it. Humanoids from the Deep continues to hold up. I got a couple of notes here, right? Things that I love about this film. Pervy as hell, okay? So if you're a little kid and you're watching Humanoids from the Deep, you almost can't believe what you're seeing. You almost can't believe it, even as a 40-year-old male. It's jaw-dropping in a way. This is a nasty business that Roger Corman got himself into, but he knows what sells, man, right? He's been doing this forever. He did all that Vincent Price stuff, gave Jack Nicholson his start. He did all the creature B-movie. Roger Corman is a godsend, dude. He is a legend, and he knew what put butts in the seats, what drew that round of applause was scary-ass monsters, beautiful women, and letting them make creative decisions with the way that they want to take care of business, and I love that. Now, another thing I'm going to say that I love about this film is this 4K is one of the best 4Ks I've seen this year. No cap. No lie. This thing right here looks so damn good. It's got, when it first starts, you almost feel like, is this going to be another Dead and Buried? Is it going to be super grainy? Am I going to have a hard time making stuff out? Nope. This looks as good as Jaws. I'm saying it. This thing looks so good. It's not even fair when you watch the Blu-ray. Like, it's not even fair to compare them. It's such a giant upgrade. Picking this thing up, I mean, I don't know what I was waiting for. I love this film, and I think I watched it on VHS, and then I had it on Blu-ray. This is the way you need to get it right here. 4K, baby. One of the greatest horror things ever, also involving Rob Bottin and his creature effects. Obviously, it looks like there's an army of them, but I think he might have created only 3 suits. So, do you care about the plot? It's Humanoids from the Deep. They come back, right? They're these frogs. The evolution speeds up. DNA number 5. There's some really cool scenes, some really cool sequences where the scientists are going in and they're talking about how they made a mistake. They were trying to study these things and they're worried about the salmon and all the blah, blah, blah. DNA number 5 caused them to hyperspeed their evolution. All of a sudden, they are back. They are frisky. They are horny, and they are coming for the females, man. And they come correct. There is gore. galore, okay? There is a kill scene where that dude's swimming and half of his face gets ripped off. That is a Rob Bottin just classic, man. So damn awesome. Other things that are kind of cool, it's cool that it was directed by a female. It sucks that she was kind of put out to pasture when he hired the assistant director to come in and kind of reshoot some of that stuff. And so then you do get the male's point of view, and it does feel a little disjointed. You can definitely tell that it's just a little bit uneven in spots, but you know, for 80 minutes, it's a small coastal town. They're trying to get a cannery in. You've got Native Americans that want to stop it. You got the fishermen that want to bring it in, and you get just this perfect melting pot of salmon, gore. There's some animal deaths, right? There's a scene with the dog it's pretty brutal, and it's got The Thing written all over it, man. If you know what I'm talking about, where there's that just huge pile of them out by the ocean, and you can definitely tell it's kind of like a take on the husky death that would come later on in The Thing. I love movies that take place in small towns, from Amity Island to Antonio Bay and The Fog, right? I love Piranha. I love these little small towns where you just let the characters kind of brood, and just really have an opinion. I think that's really awesome about this film, you guys. It's a trip that this became such a major controversy. It's a trip that the female director and the cast got so upset that they took the other film, Beneath the Darkness, and they went on the national talk show circuit back in 1980, picketing, right, little signs and shit, just really, really upset that this film would not be made, and they were talked into making this other really nasty, really pervy, really great gory horror film called Humanoids from the Deep. Crazy turn of events, man. Kind of a crazy little slice of horror history. And I'm not looking down on Roger Corman, man. That guy, like I said, is one of the greatest to ever do it. The editor was like, dude, you gave us so much action as possible on such an impossible budget. We utilized film tricks, right, sleight of hand, to help the audience use their imagination, to fill in the blanks where the creature or the budget restraints existed. That's one of the coolest things I've ever watched on a special feature. The fact that Roger Corman is telling you that he is letting the audience try to create something in their mind that costs way more money than he could ever create with this small little budget to show you the monster. So he just hides the monster. That's one of his rules. For 2/3 of the film, he doesn't show you a monster. Kind of like Jaws. He just lets you think about what could be under there. And that anticipation, the crowd can create something with their imagination that is way more than he could show on screen. And I think that's just such a cool kind of Roger Cormanism, if you will. Guys, if you haven't seen Humanoids from the Deep, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you even doing out here with me in the garage talking about gory, nasty, jiggly physics, big-chested humanoids from the deep that just want to come and just conquer, spread the filth, spread the wealth? Get out there, pick up this film. Guys, I got a lot more stuff coming this week. Take care. I love you so much. Thanks for letting me rant and just to be a little bit creative with you. If you would, I don't ever say this anymore because I'm not trying to really like twist your arm or beg for stuff, but if you could just like this video, if you watched it all the way to the end, like this video, share it with somebody, share it with a friend, subscribe if you're not, tell your friends, dude, get the word out there. I don't want to like hustle for likes, but it sure means a lot. I see you all out there, lots of new people. And then shout out to my buddy Bob. He used the term jiggly physics. I'm like, dude, I'm going to re-edit that video and put it in there as many times as I can. Love you guys. Take care.